Tell me if this sounds familiar. It's a football Monday, and both our football teams lost. Welcome into another edition of Evan and Tiki. We got a lot to get to. Every aspect of the Jet loss, the Giant loss. We'll get to your phone calls, 888-808-1019. And one thing we will guarantee you, within the first 15 minutes of this show, you'll hear about both teams. So we're not going to make Jet fans wait. We're not going to make Giant fans wait. There's a lot to get to as week one continue to trend. We're losers.
I know that Ack was talking about you being the curmudgeon, but you have nothing to be fully upset about. You can be mad that you lost, but you just lost. That's all it was. It was a loss, just like the Baltimore Ravens lost. Now, it was in dramatic fashion, obviously, last night. We'll talk about that game, I'm sure, at some point, because it's relative with the Bills being on the Jet schedule next week, how you score 16 unanswered points and throw for 269 yards in the fourth quarter. There's not enough yards on the field to do that, by the way, within a couple of possessions. But whatever, we'll get to it. My issue is with the game that we saw on 1 o'clock, and Sean saw it in person, the Washington Commanders hosting the New York Giants. Now, I'm not going to make full commentary on what was good, what was bad. We'll get to it. I'm sure you guys will call about it as well. But I go directly to the head coach and his determination right after the game. The emotions were high, as he just said in the press conference that you heard right here on WFAN, about not shutting down the Jaxson Dart conversation. And look, I don't think he's going to start Jaxson Dart anytime soon. But here's where I see Dabes right now. This is what President George Bush once tried to say.
Wow. Invoking President Bush in the open.
Except for Dabes, it's got to be much clearer than what the former president tried to say.
Go on.
Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. What do I mean? We're not talking about whatever George W. Bush was talking about. 2 years ago and last year, Brian Daboll waited too long to pull the plug on Daniel Jones.
Agreed with that, yeah.
He allowed it to just fester.
Yeah.
He allowed the frustration to not only build in the fan base, but who cares about us? It was building internally. And who cares about the team? It was building with him. You knew it. And he waited, and he waited, and he waited, and he waited. And I think he waited because he felt like I still have legs on this journey that I have with the New York Giants as the head coach and Shane as my general manager. This little thing that we still have some legs on it. There's still an out to go restart another plan. But this time around, with Russell Wilson looking a lot like Daniel Jones, terrified in the pocket, non-committal, lofting balls up, not looking anything like the leader that he was described in the preseason, or honestly, the player that he was in the preseason, Dabes cannot afford to just say, we'll kick it down the road one more week. Now, he's doing it this week, but I think so much depends on what this Cowboys game looks like. I'm not saying they got to win, because I'm not saying the Giants are winning 10 games this year and they're supposed to be a playoff team, but what it looks like. Week one looked nothing like what we all expected this team, and I think that's internal as well, to look like against the Commanders team. Yes, the Commanders are good. Joe Witt is a very good defensive coordinator. He confused and did 4 stand-up D linemen. He brought pressure when he needed to, and they doubled Malik Neighbors and frustrated him, and like all the things that we could talk about. Washington's a good team, but the Giants looked like they didn't have a clue what they were doing.
Well, it looked as if, to borrow an old slogan of a dear friend of mine, you can change the quarterback, you can change the location of the offensive coordinator, you can change some pieces on your offensive line, you could change all of it, and it's the same crap. I mean, that's really what it looked like. It looked like the same crap.
Right.
Now, to make the jump that a lot of fans have already done, and Brian Daboll alluded to, and that's bench Russell Wilson for Jaxson Dart.
Start Dart.
I think is asinine. I have to tell you. Look, and I was taken back by the head coach after the game because, and we'll play the audio in a few minutes if you're curious, he opened the door to making the change after 1 week. Now, he hasn't done it because he's going to stick with Russ, but to even open the door.
Well, I don't think he didn't open the door. He just didn't slam it shut.
Well, that's kind of opening the door.
No, it's not. The door was open because of how poorly Russ played, and then the questions that started getting asked of him in the post-game press conference. He just didn't slam it.
Well,
right? There's it's open because Russ opened the door, not Dave's.
He played like crap. Sure.
Russ opened the door, and then the media started creeping it open. Like, hey, let me look inside there. Hey, what's going on inside that door right there? And Dave's needed to slam it shut, but he didn't. Now, I don't know if he didn't do that intentionally, on purpose, but it's what made me start thinking, this is a fool me once, shame on you, fool me twice, shame on me type of situation.
I think your assessment is right on. There's a difference between, we always say this, what I would do, what you would do as the listener versus what we think is going to happen. Him not slamming the door after that game shows you he's going to be quick to pull the trigger. And here's what concerns me, and you kind of alluded to it. A part of why that trigger may be flipped has more to do with his job than anything else. Because, yes, Brian Daboll and Joe Schoen have been here for multiple years. It is inexcusable to sit there as a fan and watch the same crap we've watched the last 3 years when it's a head coach in his 4th year. We'll get to the Jets in a minute. It's easy to say it's his first game, first year. There's a lot of positives. This is Brian Daboll's 4th year. And so it concerns me that the door wasn't slammed and they seem so eager to make a change this early. And listen, if you guys missed it, here's what was said after the game. I'm going to play you 2 clips where Brian Daboll, maybe you agree with me, he opened the door, or as Tiki puts it, he didn't slam the door. The first question was very innocent. Are you considering starting Jaxson Dart in week 2?
Will you consider starting Jaxson next week?
Yeah, look, we're going to get home, Pat. We're going to look at our game. Collectively, we all got to do better.
Okay, that answer is basically opening up the door to the possibility.
Right, no would have sufficed.
If Aaron Glenn was asked, and why would he be, but just hypothetical, if he was asked after the game, hey, you considering going to Tyrod Taylor in week 2? After he cursed you out, he'd say, no. And why would I do that? Justin's the starter. Now, here's how the discussion continued on in terms of, hey, are you committing to Russell Wilson?
Is it safe to say that Russell is still your starter?
Yeah, sure. I mean, we're just right here after the game. I got confidence. We got to do better around overall. Coaches, players, around everybody. So, we'll get focused and ready to go on Dallas. Go ahead,
Brian. In fairness, you not answering this sounds like you're not answering.
Well, we're talking about after every game. I got confidence in Russ. So we're going to go back. We'll evaluate the tape. This game isn't on Russell Wilson. It's not on Russell Wilson. I'm going to make that clear. So I have confidence in Russ. We got to do a better job all the way around.
Now, here's the thing that I kind of heard there.
Yeah.
You might have missed it because it was really quick. But it sounds like Brian Daboll's going to say this after every game, that he's going to evaluate this after every game. Well,
he's going to be asked after every game.
Is, but it sounds like he's going to be evaluating this decision, this specific decision, after every game. I'm not talking about the offensive line. I'm not talking about whether, Greg Van Roten is doing a good enough job to stay in there, and why not give Evan Neal, who, by the way, was inactive for this game, a chance. I'm not talking about any of that other stuff, because that stuff is real as well. I'm talking about this quarterback situation. He wants to, and likely will, be evaluating this after every single game. Now, whether he gets asked about it is going to depend on how Russ plays.
Sure.
If Russ plays great in Dallas, and he's not afraid to throw the ball downfield, and he's driving it into the points or spots where he should be driving the ball into, and making really good decisions and scrambling when he should instead of when he thinks he's getting pressure, then we won't have to worry about it. But if it looks like what it looked like last week, next week, this conversation is going to start being about Dave's future.
Of course it is.
And less about Jaxson Dart's
Of course. And because of the linkage between Daboll's future and Jaxson Dart, that's why let's open our eyes, no matter what you think. Because I have my opinion. I wouldn't start Jaxson Dart. I wouldn't even consider it.
No, me and you both.
Yes.
I told you he wouldn't play all year long.
And ideally he wouldn't, especially after only 1 week. And that's not to exonerate Russell Wilson. He played like crap. He looked washed, as some may say. He looked scared. He looked skittish. The offensive line is still a problem. Their running game was non-existent. There's a lot of things that lead to it, but when you describe all those issues the offense has, is that the ideal spot for a rookie quarterback? And the answer is no.
Well, the only thing, and I'm just being playing the other side here, is would Jaxson Dart even know that he's in harm's way? Right? Because this is why it's so hard for young quarterbacks. And we saw it with Cam Ward, to be honest with you. It's just, it happens so fast.
Right.
But you're not aware enough to be scared of it. So you just kind of keep playing. Now, bad things might happen.
Well, yeah.
Instead of having no interceptions like Russell Wilson did, you might have 2.
Yes.
Or a sack fumble or whatever it may be. And I think that is why you have some comfort in Russ, because he's not going to turn the football over. A rookie will, even if he doesn't even know why he's going to turn the football over, but he will. And so, but he also is not going to play scared.
Yes.
It felt like there were some scared moments in there for this quarterback like yesterday. And that's not what Russ was brought here to do. He was brought here to be a stabilizing veteran who has positivity and confidence. You heard it over and over and over and over again. I don't know about anybody else watching this. I didn't see that.
No, not at all.
And so
It looked like the same product.
yes.
And that sucks, and it's unfortunate because I think, and a lot of this, and I don't mean this to put anyone down like Sean or Tommy, who want to go into a season feeling positive. We all want to go into seasons feeling positive. But it felt like a lot of us tried to talk ourselves into why everything was going to be different.
Right.
And for 1 week, it is only 1 week, and it's the NFL, and things can change on a dime. But for 1 week, there was nothing different. They scored 6 points. There was nothing different. They had opportunities in the red zone, specifically like 5 of them inside the 5-yard line, and they didn't punch it in. It was the same crap. You could change the quarterback. You could say it's Russell Wilson. It's not Daniel Jones.
Yeah.
The result was exactly the same. And that's the thing that's very difficult to kind of wrap your mind around. And so what I caution, because I get what it's like as a fan, we want to be entertained. And as a fan, it's easy to say, I'm going to be bored by Russell Wilson. That game was boring yesterday. Give me Jaxson Dart for my for my sheer entertainment. But it's also not smart.
I agree.
Like, your entertainment, I get it. I get why a Giant fan would say, I don't want to bore myself watching this crap for 3 hours. Russ isn't the future. Give me Dart. I get that.
Right.
But I don't think it benefits him. I don't think it benefits the team. But I do understand that the cries are going to get louder.
Right. It gets very frustrating. By the way, on the post game, we got a question not about Jaxson Dart, but about Jameis Winston.
No, jeez. What, starting Jameis Winston?
What if Jameis had started this game?
The game would have been 10 times more entertaining.
Well,
he would have lost.
That's you read. Even though I don't know if you heard me, but that's exactly what I said.
I wish I did. I'm going to start listening to every single Giant postgame show. But I had a little bit of a problem yesterday. And I got a little bit of a problem with some of my fellow Jet fans yesterday. See, here's the way football works in my mind. There are only 17 games. It's not a lot.
Right.
It's not a baseball season.
Right.
Where you can take positives out of victories or series and say, or losses and say, let's go in the right direction. It's football. There's only 17 of them.
Right. You can be bad for 2 weeks in baseball and still be the best team in the American League.
That's very true. You can be bad in baseball for a month and still be the best team in the league.
That's true.
So I'm not going to ignore all the positives and the things I didn't expect yesterday while watching my football team play. Because there were a lot of positives. I don't deny that. But I don't know how, as a Jet fan, even 22 hours later, you're not sick to your stomach. Because here's what happened yesterday. And tell me if this sounds familiar, Teak. The New York Jets lost a football game they should have won.
Yes.
That's the headline.
Yes.
The New York Jets lost a football game they should have won.
That's a fact.
Xavier Gibson has done one good thing as a New York Jet, and it was awesome, right? The kick return heard around the world on Monday night in the Aaron Rodgers Achilles game. The guy has stunk since then. He shouldn't have made the team. He puts the ball on the ground. The Jet defense, while Sauce Gardner was tremendous, Brandon Stevens was handed a contract that I have no idea how he got it, and he played awful. The secondary wasn't good, and you had to watch a kicker make 2 ridiculous field goals.
In MetLife.
In MetLife Stadium.
Which you shouldn't be able to do because of the wind and everything else, but still.
I get that, yes, I'm encouraged by Justin Fields. Absolutely. I'm encouraged by Tanner Enstring. I'm encouraged by the Jets' overall performance. But on Monday at 2:15, I'm sorry. I can't wave pom-poms and say all's right with the world. The New York Jets did something that they did to older Jet fans years ago. Mark Gastineau.
Yeah,
they did to me a few years ago, years before that. They lost in the most Jet-like way possible.
Yeah, but give credit to one of the best coaches of this generation, even though he's only won one championship, one of a Hall of Fame quarterback. And I know people have varying opinions on how well Aaron Rodgers played, but I thought he played really well, especially given his immobility. And what did he take, 4 sacks in a game or so? Mm-hmm. But he was still standing in the pocket, making every throw that he needed to make. And he felt in control as opposed to kind of lost in the offense like he did the last couple of years in New York. And so I'm more giving credit to the Steelers than saying the Jets coughed one away. They obviously did because of Xavier Gibson's fumble. But they also had a chance to win the game. And they just didn't get it done. And to me, I look at the Jets losing in week 1. It's a loss. It's just like the Baltimore Ravens lost. Just like
come on,
just like some of these
Ravens are more established.
Just like the Kansas City Chiefs. Of course they are.
You can't compare them to the Ravens or the Chiefs.
Okay, but I'm not even talking about history. I'm just talking about a game in the NFL. It sucks to lose in week 1 because all of a sudden it's like we're on the path to lose 16 games or 17 games. Right? Your streak is 0-1, but it was just a loss. To me, there was nothing to get alarmed about, mainly because, for the most part, the defense was okay. And more importantly, Justin Fields looks like he could be the truth. And that is more important than I think anything else that happened on Sunday for the New York Jets.
The reason why I can't just say it's a loss, no biggie, the way you may say it for the Ravens or the Chiefs, is that those teams are so established. I have confidence that Lamar Jackson will continue to play like an MVP, that Patrick Mahomes, despite the injury to Xavier Worthy, will play Patrick Mahomes. Justin Fields was brilliant yesterday, and again, I'm very encouraged by the way he played and the play calling by Engstrand. They may have something as an offensive coordinator, but I don't know if any of that stuff is real. I don't know if we're not going to look back at week 1 and say, boy, what a... not admiration. What a
anomaly.
Anomaly.
Right.
Yeah, exaggerate. Whatever the word is.
Right.
I don't know if that's going to be the case. So when you have a chance to win a football game in your own building, and I will politely disagree with you about one thing, and this has nothing to do with Aaron Rodgers. I have no vendetta against Aaron Rodgers. I never felt yesterday, nor do I feel it today, look into your beautiful eyes, that the Pittsburgh Steelers took that from the Jets. The Jets took it from themselves.
Same old Jets.
Quite frankly, they did. Now, they did a lot of things well, and they did a lot of things better than I expected, but they blew the football game.
Yeah.
They were undisciplined.
Well, they just gave up too many big plays. That's ultimately what it came down to.
Okay.
So the defense let you down. But the offense, it was impressive, man. The touchdown that Justin Fields threw where he audibled at the line of scrimmage, and why did he audible at the line of scrimmage? Everybody, go back and watch that play. When you see it on replay, watch what Justin Fields does. He sees that the Steelers are screwed up. They check into man coverage because they're screwed up. Justin Fields very patiently walks up to the line of scrimmage, brings his tight ends tight so he gets max protection, and then calls on 2 crossers, deep crossers. Because it's man coverage, there's a safety. He's got to commit to one of those deep crossers. One of the dudes is going to be wide open. And he calmly threw the perfect ball to Garrett Wilson for the touchdown. And it was, that was higher level QB, X's and O's, IQ. And I didn't think Justin Fields had that in him.
No, I get you.
I honestly didn't. You didn't see any of that in Chicago. You didn't see it last year in Pittsburgh. This year, it's like, man, it clicked. He learned how to be a professional quarterback.
And that is very encouraging and very exciting because, like I said to you months ago, it's a lottery ticket, and who knows, maybe it cashes out into the Powerball, and the early returns are great. So I'm not discouraged about the future. I'm just more pissed off
mad because you lost game 1.
Yes.
Yeah. I can see that.
A game they could have won and a game they should have won.
Those are problems I wish we had as Giant fans.
I understand. We'll get your calls next. Giant fans, Jet fans, 888-808-1019.